Alright, let's get this started. I'm John Redden with my review of AEW Dynamite St. Patrick's Day Slam. But before we get too deep into the review, I have one thing to say about the main event. Hard to do one-person applause. I do apologize. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, in all seriousness, absolutely fucking killed it. Just forget the label of a great women's match, with the lights out unsanctioned stipulation. It was a great goddamn match. Fucking incredible, bloody, brutal. They beat the hell out of each other, and that was absolutely goddamn great. That is how you use the lights out unsanctioned stipulation to blow off a feud. That is one of my favorite matches of the year, and had it not been such a great main event, had that match not been on this show would have been a total goddamn loss, because it was really goddamn messy, and I'm going to explain why a little bit later. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comments, please. So MJF and his crew arrive in a private jet, and I'm going to talk more about them a little bit later. We have a pre-tape with Penta saying that Cody's going to take early maternity leave because he's going to break his arm. Cool, arm-breaking Penta from Lucha Underground is back. Cody's ego-stroking entrance. Seriously, they can dial back on the pyro. Not just for Cody, but for everybody. You don't need to do so much pyro because we get it. These guys can actually be stars without doing so much pyro, because otherwise it's like, okay, great, they're getting that. Brandon Cutler gets goddamn pyro, and nothing against Brandon Cutler, but he doesn't need pyro because he's Brandon Cutler. They could dial it back on the pyro is my point. So Penta versus Cody, and Penta dives out to hotshot it, and look, there were some elements about this match that I liked. I like how Penta focused on the shoulder, and got a barricade, and then put on a St. Patrick's Day hat. Look at me, I'm the Prime Minister of Ireland. And then, a little bit later, Cody tries to hit a top rope hurricanrana. Cody cannot do top rope maneuvers outside of superplexes very well. And it's not that he's not a good athlete. He is, but he's trying to do too much. He looks awkward when he tries to do the Cody cutter off the ropes or the disaster kick. And God, that hurricanrana took for goddamn ever. If you can't do something crisp on a pre-tape show or otherwise, don't fucking do it. It looks awkward. And it's proof that Cody, I'm going to try to do all this fancy, smancy stuff. And guess what? It doesn't really fucking work. Sorry, it didn't really work at all. And then more shoulder focus. And then suicide dive into the barricades. And then we get a Cody Destroyer, a Cody Cutter for 2. We get a Crossroads, a Vertebreaker, sort of. Shane Helms did it better in WCW. And then we get a knee to the post. We get a figure 4. But then later, the arm snap, Pentagon Jr. I keep calling him Pentagon Jr. I know that's not his actual name. But Penta snaps the arm. There we go. He's going to get the victory. Nope. Cody gets a sunset flip and gets a victory. Way to no-sell the arm snap. That finisher's all goddamn done. That was fucking ridiculous. And then Penta basically attacks him, and then Dustin and the Gun Club run him off. And QT Marshall's walking out there. Hey, I'm here, guys. What the hell's going on? I'm freshly healed QT Marshall. 2 weeks prior at Revolution, we decided to do this, and now I'm just going to be a fresh heel. And there's literally no explanation. Maybe he's sick of it. Maybe he's like, hey, Cody Rhodes brought me into the goddamn company after I was basically out of wrestling. And the whole undesirable to undeniable thing, well, that didn't end up working out all that well. Remember that interview, piece that they did on Dark for like 3 weeks, and they should have kept doing because it would have given us more familiarity with the rest of the talent? No, they couldn't do that. And now QT Marshall's just a heel. And the stuff with Cody is not making me sympathetic towards him. It's just not. And the Gun Club is just out there because they're Cody's friends. Everybody's Cody's friends, yet they're never out there to actually save him. It's just fucking hilarious. Anyway, we have the Bucks, and talking about Pac and Phoenix are the best tag team in the world. Not to me, but you know what? The Bucks have fans. The sad thing is the Bucks weren't even the worst part of this segment. No, it was Don Scarlet Fever Callis. Let me say right now that Don Callis deserves every bit of scorn and ridicule and verbal, beatings that he gets. Because I'm just going to say right now, Don Callis is a piece of shit. He's been a piece of shit for a while. And with all this stuff coming out about why, I don't know, Cross and Scarlett left Impact and all this stuff going on, I think there's more skeletons in Don Callis' closet. So that's why he's going to be Don Scarlet Fever Callis. He's going to keep getting that until he gets what's coming to him. And hopefully it does happen soon, because if you're going to do that kind of stuff to a woman, I don't care who you are and where you are. If you're going to do that to anybody, if you're going to take advantage of anybody like that, you're a goddamn piece of shit. And Don Scarlet Fever Callis deserves every bit of scorn that he gets. He's a piece of shit and a goddamn moron, and I can't stand the guy. He's a goddamn nuisance on camera. What purpose has he served? All he has done is made me not want to see Kenny Omega, a little more than I already did. Because I didn't want to see Omega as champion, but I knew he would be. But I was like, okay, maybe Omega as champion, it'll be something fresh and something cool. No, now I don't want to ever see the AEW World Heavyweight Championship on television. I don't want to see Omega anymore, even though without him being on television, I'll still be able to see and hear his goddamn shirts because they're so loud you can see and hear them from space. I don't want to see any of them. I don't want to see anybody. I don't even want to really hear from the Bucks, who, they were upset at Callis for bringing up their dad and everything. Oh, dad's in the hospital. Here's a shirt for him. Callis, you're about 5% as clever as you actually are. You are not clever at all. You're a goddamn piece of shit. And you've lucked into every single position that you've had. And guess what? You don't deserve to be in wrestling, you fucking idiot. Anyway, why is this considered great television? I have no idea. I don't care about this high school drama bullshit. Jade Cargill versus Danny Jordan, the real mean girl. Danny Jordan gets nearly dropped on her head. I hope she's okay. And Jade wins with Jaded. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully Jade gets better because she looks like $1 million. And I like Danny Jordan, the real mean girl. So I hope she gets more opportunities on Dynamite. And Tully's got the stick, says Shivani. Phrasing. And Tully, he still got the promo. They're the pinnacle. Worms play pinnacle with your snout. That's what I kept thinking while hearing this. And it's 5 guys and Shawn Spears. It's nothing against Shawn Spears, but they've done nothing with him since that whole feud with Cody. Even when they tried to give him the loaded glove thing, they really just kept doing stop-start stuff with him. And it's... Well, MJF starts cutting out Chris Jericho, saying it was a walk in the park, which it looks like you need more of, Chris. And that, he was far, he's like, I'll have to go back far, far more back than your hairline or something like that. He made comments about his hairline. He made comments about everything. MJF just absolutely brutalized him here. Your comedy bullshit. It's like, was it kill the inner circle from within? That really didn't take all that much. MJF talks up everyone and says, Shawn Spears has always been a top guy. In what fucking universe? I have nothing against Shawn Spears as a wrestler, but in what universe is Shawn Spears a top guy? Because you can be really good in the ring, but seriously, nothing about him stands out. MJF, I've got 25 years left in wrestling. I'm sure that pisses you off and all this. And it's a great promo. I really hope they actually do something with these guys and, MJF becomes the world champion and maybe you have FTR win the tag titles. And I don't know what they would do with the TNT Championship. I think that will get kind of left to the side. But this is good stuff. This was actually a highlight of the show. What wasn't a highlight was Matt and Private Party, Butcher and Blade with the Bunny. The Bunny is a highlight, though. Taking on Bear Country and Jurassic Express. It was a 9-man tag match. And the Midget. I'm sorry, I do not count him as a wrestler. And I like Bear Country. Let me say, I like Bear Country. And I got nothing against Jungle Boy. I don't care about this thing with Matt. Big Money Matt. Don't care about it. The absolute state of this embarrassment and Stunt being allowed to be in a ring. He shouldn't be allowed to be in a ring. It's embarrassing. It brings everybody down whenever he's in there. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. It's the visual of it. He shouldn't be in a goddamn wrestling ring. It breaks into a clusterfuck instantly. We get miscommunication between the faces because at one point Stunt gets thrown out by Bear Country and then Jungle Boy gets knocked down. And yeah, Bear Country and Jurassic Express are all upset with each other. All these times that they've teamed up with each other. Oh, wait, no, they barely teamed up with each other. And they're just doing this because it's lazy. And then Gin and Juice, Matt hits a twist of fate on Stunt. At least the embarrassment took the goddamn... Keep Marco Stunt out of the motherfucking ring. He doesn't deserve to be in a business that is supposed to be built on, at least athletics and, I don't know, having a good visual representation of what a wrestler should look like. He shouldn't be in there. He's an embarrassment. Anyway, Moxley and Kingston talking about how they feel. Oh, not good. Mox is pretty beat up. And that it's like, I don't like the Good Brothers. Mox speaks for a lot of people. Coward dies 1,000 deaths. Soldiers like us only die once. This was a good promo because Kingston can talk. Mox can talk. And then Christian Cage and Dasha. Dasha has bigger arms than half of the AEW roster. And that is not me knocking Dasha. She puts the work in on her workouts. She looks tremendous. And the fact that she could probably lift half the roster is a little bit of an indictment of how small and slight and embarrassing some of the roster is in AEW. It is really goddamn... I'm not a size person, but seriously, when your backstage interviewer, your, woman interviewer has bigger arms than some of your guys, it proves it. She's putting in the work and none of them are. So, he wants to... Christian Cage wants to face Kenny Omega. That's a bad idea. That is not a feud that interests me. But then again, you don't have much time with Christian, given the fact he's 47 with injuries, so you might want to hotshot him to face Omega. Good Brothers jumpstart by attacking Kingston. Mox all taped up, and they hit a magic killer on Mox. This took forever before it actually started in the ring. And guess what? The Good Brothers are, they're a good tag team. I don't give a flying fuck about them. I don't care that they're an Impact, whatever. If you like Impact, that's fine. They do not interest me. They do not. I don't really care. I don't wish for anything bad to happen to them, but I don't find them interesting. This was a mess. Kingston's offense fits in with how he hits. And the Good Brothers, I believe it was Anderson that got hit with an inside cradle, 1, 2, 3. I started to tune out of this match. Not quite as much as the 9-man tag match with the embarrassment stunt, but this just was like, okay, it's a clusterfuck, and then they did this, and it was what it was. And Mox gets an inside cradle, and then we get a beatdown then of, overrated Omega, the guy that Okada made. And look, you can like Omega all you want. I do not like Omega, and I'm not going to budge from that, because I have praised him in the past when I thought he's done good stuff. Nothing that he's done in the past few months has impressed me. All it's done is annoy me to the point where I don't want to see him on television anymore. He actively makes me wish that the ratings keep falling for this goddamn company, because he is just shitting and pissing on the goddamn, championship and on this company in general. It's not like, oh, he's a god of pro wrestling. Well, guess what? He's as real of a god as any other god is there, Callus, Scarlet Fever Callus. And he's, trying to do something. He's trying to act tough, which Callus ain't tough. He's never been tough. He's never been in a fight in his life. Except in the courtroom, which he's probably going to face one later because, oh yeah, he's a piece of shit that likes to do stuff to women in Impact. Allegedly. Except not so allegedly, given the stuff that's coming out. Kingston's knee gets targeted, and then the Bucks stop a chair on Mox's throat. This is embarrassing. And then they do the whole too sweet thing, all this stuff and everything. Oh yeah, great, yeah, for the t-shirt brand that's going on. And then Bullet Club this, you bunch of jokers. I did like how Shivani said that. And then Callis suddenly ran away like he's trying to avoid another sexual harassment suit. Gee, maybe if Callis stopped being a piece of shit, he wouldn't have to worry about that. And I'm going to say that shit, and if that bothers people, I don't care. It doesn't belong in wrestling. It doesn't belong in society, regardless of what gender you are. Don't harass people. Don't take advantage of people, no matter who the fuck you are. And if you think you can do that, you're a piece of shit, and you don't belong in society. So fuck off if you feel that way. So anyway, and Callis can fuck off. Scarlet Fever Callis, the goddamn idiot. So, Shivani then interviews Sting and Darby. Darby wants to defend the title each week. And against, in honor of the greatest TNT champion of all time, one member of the Dark Order can face him. Okay, cool. The title's also been around for 10 months. But you know what? If it's a way to, give the Dark Order something to do, and you want to honor Brody, that's fine. So Archer interrupts. It's like, it should be my time all the time. And you're the most indie-rific guy here, referring to Darby and then talking to Sting. And then, wait, Team Taz shows up. Everybody just interrupts Sting. Now it's not everybody turns on Sting. Everybody interrupts Sting. I respect you. Ricky Starks is wrong. With or without the bat, you're still the icon. So they're teasing tension. They were teasing tension between Bear Country and Jurassic Express. They're teasing tension between, Team Taz already. And just after losing a street fight and everything, when Team Taz is one of the better things going, if they would stop running away from a 61-year-old man with, a bad neck and a bat. But now they're just teasing, whatever. Anyway, Scorpio Sky Package. He says he won't be a stepping stone, that he's a wrestling savant. If he has to hurt people, he will do it. Fine. Good promo. Phoenix took on Angelico. Lanky Chris Sabin is back. That's what I call Angelico, because he basically looks like that. Phoenix Driver, 1, 2, 3. The match really didn't interest me. In fact, I would argue this could have been on Dark and it wouldn't have been a miss. Miro interview. He is... Well, he's moving on from Chuck or Charles and, Orange Cassidy. That feud that went absolutely nowhere and then somehow went backwards. But Kip wants revenge for his wedding being ruined. And then Miro says, the worst thing for your career is to have your wife at ringside. We get it. You're taking shots at the fact of how your wife's being used on WWE television. We get it. And I want to root for Miro, but it's hard to do that when he got brought in the way he, was, and now they're going to try to make him the Brute. I don't care. What does he get? He wants to be world champion. Yeah, good fucking luck with that. Nothing against him as an athlete. And then next week, Nyla versus Ty Conte. I wonder if Vicky Guerrero is going to want to throw Ty over the wall. Remember, Vicky Guerrero is a trumper, and she deserves to be ridiculed for it. So, FTR and Spears versus Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin. Is the other, member of Top Flight injured? Genuine question. Is he okay? Darby Open challenge to the Dark Order. We cut to the Dark Order, and first -1 is like, no, it should be me. And then they're like, wait, you're 9. Just wait a decade. All right, you know what? Whatever. Still gonna hold my opinion back on that, but it's, it'll be silver. Okay, cool, whatever. Fine. Give it 10 minutes and let Darby go over, and it should be fine. And Omega versus Matt Sydal. If Sydal beats him, then he gets a future title shot. And then the Pinnacle, take over the Inner Circle locker room. They're playing Pinnacle with the Snout. Whoever's Snout, if it's with Jericho's Snout, with how much coke he does, that's going to take a while. Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, unsanctioned lights out match. And once again, Raw fucking Bo. I'm not even going to try to encapsulate everything in this match. I wrote down some stuff, and I will go through some spots. But holy shit, Britt bled like crazy. Thunder Rosa bled. But Britt especially bled. I swear to God, she just got cut right up here. It was insane. Reba tries to attack, and we get an air raid crash on the ramp. We get a bunch of chairs. We get into the crowd, the paid crowd, the people that Tony Khan's basically paying just to cheer there. And then Rosa gets split open after a stomp on the steps, and then a superplex onto a bunch of chairs. Normally, I would not like this stuff, but you know what? These women took this shit seriously, and they did some really hardcore shit to each other. And it was actually good. It told a story, which is hard to do in a match like this because, again, generally, I don't like this stuff. Yet I like Thunder Rosa, and I will watch just about anything Thunder Rosa does if I'm able to. And Britt Baker has impressed me more, despite the fact she was in a tooth and nail match. And we get a ladder into Britt's face, and then the ladder just splits her head open. We get more ladder shots, DVD on the ladder. Why they threw a copy of a movie on there, I have no idea. A kid, Death Valley Driver, and then DDT on the chair, to Rosa. And then we get, a stomp onto a chair, but just for 2. Then we get the thumbtacks out. Rebel gets knocked through a table. And then we get a powerbomb onto the attacks, but just for 2. Holy shit. And Britt is bleeding. I cannot emphasize enough how bad Britt was bleeding. She was bleeding really bad. I hope she's okay. I hope Thunder Rosa's okay, because this was brutal. They beat the hell out of each other. We get a lockjaw, but then she rolls her into the tacks. Ow, 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 ow. That would hurt. That honestly would, because those tacks do hurt. They hurt if you get, them jammed on your hands. But anyway, there's a table outside, and suddenly, Thunder Rosa driver right through the table. 1, 2, 3, and Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker put on one of my favorite matches of the year. If that isn't at least top 10, I will be amazed. Thunder Rosa is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. And I'm not just talking women, men, favorite wrestlers in the world. I'm not even equating it to gender. Love Thunder Rosa, and I will watch anything that she does. Just great shit. Great shit. Britt Baker stepped her game up. I hope she's okay. The women absolutely killed it. The rest of the show was kind of a dive, but I'm going to stick by that. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.